free to write those in the chat. So I will take those after completing the whole session. So first, let's talk about what is open source. So open source is basically a term referred to open source softwares. Like there are basically two types of softwares. One is closed source, one is open source. One example of a closed source software is iOS. The software that powers our iPhones are closed source. That means that very little amount of people can do have the access of the code, and they can modify the code and do changes there and suggest changes there. On the other hand, if you use an Android phone, it uses a open source software. So the OS, Android OS, can be seen by everyone. It is accessible by everyone. Anyone can modify it. Like you can't directly modify it, but you can suggest changes to it, and also you can use that OS into your own hardware and distribute it as you like. So that is basically the basic difference between open source and closed source software. So after that, we are using open source software since we are child. Like if you have used Chrome, it is powered by Chromium. Also, if you use Microsoft Edge, it is also powered by Chromium. And Android, like I said, is an open source software. Linux, all of the cloud things are done in Linux, so it is open source. Firefox, if you have used the browser, it is open source. VLC Media, Telegram, all of these are open source, and there are lots of startups that are creating new softwares these days. Those are open source. So this is basically open source, and open source sounds like a good thing, like as the code is visible to everyone. But still, why you should contribute to open source? So let's go through that. First one is the real world software development experience. Like whenever you will go for an internship or job, there is always a chicken and egg problem. I can't say for you, but this is something that I faced and lots of my friends face that. So, most of the companies want someone with experience, and companies don't want someone who doesn't have any experience. And also, if a company doesn't give us a chance, so we won't have any experience in future also. So what we can do? So then we can contribute to open source softwares, because in open source softwares, if you have a good improvement to the software, they won't see your CV. You can just add those changes, suggest those changes, yeah, and if the maintainer sees that it is the right way, it is a good thing that can be added to the software, you can just get it merged, and also you can add it on your resume, which is our next topic. So open source really enhance your resume. Like see, let's say you are applying for an Android development job, and you contributed to the Android OS or any library that is hugely used in the Android development ecosystem. Just think for a second. The interviewer who is asking you question, maybe he himself haven't contributed to that, or he doesn't have that much depth of knowledge in that, so he will have a great respect for you, and this can really help you in getting jobs. Like I know so many people who contribute to open source and got a job through that. Otherwise, it really helped them to get a job in that specific field. So it really helps you to cut that chicken and egg problem, and also it really helps you to enhance your resume. So when I started, I wasn't getting any. I was not getting any internship opportunities. So what I did is I started contributing to open source, and I did some contributions, and that was something that I could add into my resume. So that really helped me to get my first job. So this is something that you can also try. Also, there is one thing is satisfaction of working in impactful softwares. Like if you're building something, you want people to use it. Like if you are building something and that no one use, that's there is no satisfaction of your work. So there should be a work satisfaction. And let's say if your software is getting used by millions of people, and if you're contributing to Chromium, then it's getting used by billions of people. So just think of it that you made a change which is deployed in so many devices, and lots of people are interacting with the software. So it feels really good, and you can just tell that I contributed here, and that will really whenever you say that to people, they will look up to you, and it will really boost your morale, and you will be more into software development, and this is something that will push you ahead in your software development career. So then also it's a very good place to network with developers, like senior developers who are really good in their field. So um, so in early days, we used to just ask for a referral in LinkedIn. We used to write a DM attaching our resume. That's sir, that's this is what I did. If you want, you can give us a referral, and we will be thankful. But nowadays, because so many people are giving resumes, referrals, so nowadays companies started asking that how do you know this guy, and how are you referring this guy, if you do you have any experience of him working with him. So let's say if you have worked with that guy in an open source project, like lots of senior engineers contribute to open source, and he can code that, like I when I was in Google Summer of Code, I worked with Google build engineers. So when I got a referral from Google, and the person who got gave me the referral, she used to work in Google. So in the referral, she wrote that she worked with me on a specific project. She can add links, and people, if the recruiter wants, he can verify that. So it's very good to network with them, and other than just shooting a DM in their LinkedIn, um, it's way better to get their attention through doing open source. Like lots of companies, if it's a open source company, and if you do have some contributions there, sometimes they reach out to you directly. Otherwise, you if that's a very good point, and then you can add those to to your application whenever you will be applying to that company. So it's very good place to network with them. And also job opportunities and other opportunities also come through open source. Like there are many companies, many open source startups and all, which regularly recruits from their open source contributors, because lots of companies these days doesn't ask all algorithmic questions. They want someone who can work from the day zero. So if you are that guy who already knows the code base and can make an impact to the software, it's very good. And also other opportunities like becoming a moderator there, becoming a maintainer there, and it can be a part-time job or a voluntary job, maybe going through conferences. There are lots of opportunities that you can get through open source, because first of all, because all of the contributions that you do there are listed in your GitHub. So anyone can just see that, oh, this guy contributes to Bitcoin, so this guy, he have some good knowledge about cryptography. This guy contributes to TensorFlow, he has some good knowledge about AI and ML. So these are some good things that you can do uh, to increase your chances of getting jobs and good opportunities in the future. So one of my seniors in TensorFlow used to contribute to Hugging Face. If you are in ML field, there is a very well-known company called Hugging Face. It's a very big company. So he used to contribute there. Then they reached out to him and asked him to maintain this, and now he is working full time there. Earlier, he used to work in TCS. So the job increment he got is like it's like 5 6x, even more than that. So these are some opportunities that you can get, and this is why you should contribute to open source. So if it sounds good to you and interesting to you, then you need to know how you can contribute to open source projects, and what are the prerequisites, minimum prerequisites that you need to know. So these are what I feel are the prerequisites for contributing to or
I
getting
can
involved
try
into
this.
any
I
open
can
source
try this.
projects. Like first you need to know Git and GitHub. So if you
Actually,
don't know
this
about
is
Git,
my driving.
it's
Like
basically a
Git
version
update
control
account
system.
into the folder
So
directly.
what is version control
Our
system?
folder
So
doesn't
in a code base there are
design a folder where
multiple
we need to
code files that
next
you need to
version of the
manage,
code.
and also manage the
Our
history of
events
those code
folder
changes.
in the events
So you need a good
folder
system to
directly.
manage all of
Into
this.
the code
And
save array folder.
also there are hundreds of developers who are continuously
Event folder
contributing to that software, and you don't
event
want the software to break. So version control in Git is very well known and well tested, proven,
I think
um,
it is from folder
proven way of doing
source
this,
folder
managing code and all.
same one.
And also
Events
GitHub is whenever you use Git in a code base, it becomes a Git repository. And if you want to host a Git repository in website, so multiple people can work on that. It, whenever you want to host, you use GitHub. So GitHub basically hosts all of the Git repositories like Microsoft, Google, all of them have big organizations in GitHub website, and they host their code there. So first you need to learn Git and GitHub because these are something that is very much important. And then what you need to learn is a programming language of your choice. I mean, you can learn any language, whichever you like. Uh, and I will say that choose by this. Like, if you want to make Android apps, then start with Java or Kotlin, because those languages will help you to build Android apps. Just think of the software that you want to build and learn according to that. Like, then you learn programming language which suits that tech stack. So when you learn the first you learn the programming language, and then you learn the tech stack, like Android development for building Android app, iOS development for building iOS app, Flutter, web development, ML, blockchain, whichever you want to learn. There's like lot of tech stacks that you can learn. And then after you know something like that, these things, then you can search about the code bases who are in your tech stack of your choice,
Google Form is
and then you
optional.
can just study the code there and see if you can make any changes there.
അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വേറൊരു സ്ഥലത്തെ ഗൂഗിൾ ഫോം ക്രിയേഷൻ ആയെങ്കിൽ മൂവ് ഓപ്ഷൻ ഉണ്ട് ഗൂഗിൾ ഫോം ഓപ്പൺ ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ എഡിറ്റ് ഓപ്ഷനിൽ മുകളിൽ ഒരു മൂവ് ഓപ്ഷൻ ഉണ്ടാവും ആ
So
ഫോൾഡറിലേക്ക് തന്നെ വെച്ചിട്ട്
also you can do non-code contributions, but we won't go through that. So these are the three things that I think that you should know before getting into open source development. And these are some resources that you can go through to learn Git. So I will share the slides in the end of the this session, so you can just get all of the links from there, so nothing to worry about. And then after you learn all of the prerequisites, then next thing you want to do is to contribute to projects. So what is a good way to contribute to a project, and what is something that is uh, that you need to find a good project? So these are two good websites that you can go through to find good projects. So first one is Google Summer of Code website. So let me just show you how is it. So I hope it is visible. So it is Google Summer of Code website. So what I really like about this website is there is all of the organizations which got selected for the last year and are well maintained software. You can just go through this and search the